So day 4 we will be doing combinations. Combinations are very closely related to permutations, but with one key difference, and that is that a combination is a selection of a set of objects in which the order of the objects is not important. This is called a combination. So in the examples and questions that we were doing previously, we were making words. So obviously the order is important. I think I gave you the example in our last day's notes of cat being a different word from CTA or ATC, etc. But a combination is when the order doesn't matter. For example, how many 3-topping pizzas can be made from a possible 4 toppings? So if the order was important on our pizza, you might do 4P3, which is the same as doing, okay, well, if I'm making 3 toppings, I can choose from 4, then 3, then 2, and this would give you 24. However, if all the toppings are going on the same pizza, then does it really matter if you selected, I don't know, mushrooms, and then pineapple, and then olives? Or what if you selected olives first and then mushrooms and then pineapple? Wouldn't those at the end of the day give you the same pizza? Now, of course, we could argue that, yeah, they'd be layered different, but for the sake of argument, let's just say that this would give you the exact same pizza. So how can we account for this in our calculation? Well, if I chose these 3 toppings, then how many different ways would these be able to be arranged? Well, they could be arranged 3 factorial different ways. So if I divided this answer here, originally 24 different 3-topping pizzas, by 3 factorial, that's 24 divided by 6, so that would give me 4 possible pizzas, which is actually the answer. If you write out, if you play this game by writing out all the toppings, you'll see that the answer is 4. So the way that we account for this is that when we're doing combinations, we use NCR formula, which I showed you where the permutation formula came from last time, but this one is very similar. However, we are dividing by R factorial to account for, so we divide, by R factorial to account for all the repeats. I'm going to call them repeats. For example, the number of times that I could pick mushrooms, pineapple, olives, or olives, pineapple, mushrooms, or mushroom, olive, pineapple, etc. Those are all giving me the same pizza, so I'm dividing by the number of ways that I would have repetition of the same combination. So that is where the R factorial comes from in this formula. So let's apply this formula to the next few examples. So example 1, 3 students from a class of 12 are chosen to go on a school trip. In how many ways can they be selected? So you may be looking at this question going, well, we already did this question. We did this question last class. But if you go back and you look at the wording, you'll see that this wording is particularly different for a reason. In the questions you were doing last class, it might say 3 students from a class of 12 are selected to be maybe president, secretary, vice president on student council. So those students are given very specific positions in which the order is the order matters, right? If student A is president or student A is vice president, those give you a different arrangement. In this case, all the students are doing is going on a school trip. So it doesn't matter if students 1, 2, and 3 were selected in that order, or if they were selected in the order 3, 2, and 1, because those 3 students are going to end up on the trip. So that's what tells us that it's a combination. In this case, N is still the number of different objects, in this case students, and we are choosing 3 at a time. So it would be 12, choose 3. This gives us 12 factorial, over 12 minus 3 factorial, and then we divide again by 3 factorial to account for the fact that if we choose students in a different order but they all end up on the same trip, that is the same actual combination. So your calculator has a NCR button right beside the NPR button that you may want to practice with, or you can do this using factorials, or sorry, your factorial button, or you can do it by simplifying. Whichever way you choose, make sure that you can get the answer of 220.